Alright, fuckers, let's get started on the drawing. Welcome back to Cute Bots Art and Artwod workout, right? Artwod being the goated draftsmanship platform as it is. Yes, you do have to pay for it. They have a freemium thing. Because I'm only saying that because somebody commented on one of my shorts saying, do you have to pay for Artwod? Technically, no. They have a freemium option which allows you to check out their beginner roadmap or intro to form. What is it called? Intro to drawing? I don't fucking know anymore. Whatever. It's a beginner roadmap. Okay, it's like their fundamental roadmap for fucking form and all that shit, shape manipulation, everything they teach, or everything I'm practicing. But this is the workout. The workouts essentially are applications of these fundamental practices, right, of shape manipulation. Just understanding form. So with that being said, what I'm doing right now is Cute Bots, which is drawing mechs, right? And I'm practicing what Antonio said in one of his videos. It was like an hour-long video. Like, this is everything you need to learn to know to get good about art. And one of the things he said, which I am actually very interested in, and I've been practicing right now, which is draw a random shape, right, like so, and then now you reverse engineer your design into that, right? And I also am trying to keep in mind Jonas Minnabo's mech drawing course when it comes to essentially, what was it, one of the biggest things he said was like articulation, but fuck, I keep forgetting. Well, learning hinges and shit. Well, okay, no. Well, I was utilizing what he said earlier. Yeah, I'm like losing my train of thought because there's so much to think about when it comes to mechs. But right now, what I'm focusing on is just internalizing hinge designs, right? This is the hinge that I practiced from Pinterest, just one hinge. I have like 4 or 5 saved, right? I'm gonna internalize 2, and right now this one that I've internalized, I'm just trying to draw mechanical things around it, right? I don't understand what any of this means, but it's already starting to look relatively decent. So we're just gonna go from there. What's the goal? The goal is always visualize the box, visualize the mannequin, the hinge mannequin, and then visualize, obviously, like the shapes I'm gonna draw around it. So lots of visualizing, of course, but that's part of the fun. And the goal, as always, for me is to just kill my brain, right? So draw along with me. Let's reach maximum but appropriate discomfort together, right? Aim for that 7 out of 10 discomfort and try to always stay in that zone. And really try to push your ability to visualize and to think ahead, because drawing is thinking, right? So, yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what I can do. And this is good. I'm really, really thinking hard right now. I'm just really thinking hard. This is the best part, you know, when you actually put a lot of thought into things. I'm just trying to figure out because again, I'm trying to see the entire hinge mannequin, right? So I'm also trying to ensure that what I'm seeing, how I visualize, I'm leading into that, because right now I'm really trying to see it on the page, but I think it helps to also try to see it how I visualize, which is a little bit in my mind as well. Either way, it's going to be very difficult, but it's to figure out exactly what can be done, right? What can be done? So it's just a matter of thinking, because drawing is thinking. So let me at least start with this. Right, don't want to lose the perspective, of course. That's the main thing, is want to make sure we don't lose the perspective. And it is very difficult. Let's not get it wrong here. It is incredibly difficult, right? Never ever believe, like, if you're feeling incredible discomfort, I want to reassure you that that means you're on the right path, right? If you're not feeling incredible discomfort, that means you're not trying hard enough, you know? And that's not to be mean and disparaging. That's to be rude and dismissive. No, that's not to be a dick or anything, but it's just a fact, right? If in anything we like, okay, for example, I'm learning piano or like going to the gym, right? Any skill that I'm picking up, I'm actually gonna start learning how HTML and CSS the next week, because I need to upskill myself for my job, right? Because I'm fucking broke, not homeless, but jobless, and I have no idea where my future holds. So I need to learn, at the very least, I can spell this time learning skills, and I'm very fortunate to have a family that supports me, right? You know, begrudgingly so, because I'm a man and I need to stop being a waste piece of shit and get to it, but let's see. Big shapes, big shapes. And again, I have to think about that mannequin while I visualize the box, while I visualize the shape. Also try to think about it from a different perspective as much as possible. Right, big shapes. And this is the part that's, I'm trying to think about like the type of stuff I've seen. Right? And again, it's kind of, what are these hinges being designed as, right? It's like, what is this thing's purpose? It's very difficult because right now, again, I lost the perspective, and now while I'm drawing this, I need to get it back decently at the very least, right? So we got that, and now it's like, okay, this is a big shape, kind of, not really. I have to think. Well, we've already closed off a lot of options just by drawing something like this, but now we have to think, okay, how can this improve what I'm drawing, right? How can we, well, we can do something like this, and it can just be, let's see. Something like that, right? And that's cool and all, but again, I need to think about the big shape. You see how difficult this is? I literally forgot about adding it in this, you know, putting it in this, like making it figure or fit in that. I literally forgot about that. You know why? Because I was so focused on seeing the perspective and trying to visualize that even while trying to visualize, I forgot I should be visualizing it in a manner that is supportive, is conducive to sort of this reverse engineering little practice, right? Like, that's so fucking difficult. Now I have to think how we can fix that, but there should be a way to fix that. We just need to think about the perspective yet again before I start making marks. You see, I'm losing myself. I'm literally losing myself while I'm trying to make these marks. So yeah, I keep saying this stuff to make it very clear that none of this is easy. Like, literally none of this is easy. And I want it to be very evident. And that's more so for anybody watching than it is for me, because I know it's not easy. I'm very well aware that none of this is easy. But I believe that you beginners and intermediates or anybody watching are the ones who are going to benefit from this very reassuring fact, by the way. I hope it's reassuring that, oh yeah, so it is normal that my brain is hurting and I'm thinking really hard and I keep losing the perspective and I keep having to revisualize and my lines go to shit, right? Okay, cool. So this guy is going through it as well, and he's consistently going through it, and he's consistently getting better, but he's still consistently going through it, right? Look at him, like, while he's talking, he's trying to visualize this, and it's so fucking difficult, but he has to keep doing it because that's how he's going to get better, right? So that's the whole point. Is that I'm really, really, really trying to, I mean, it's in my fucking thumbnail, right? Or my channel banner. Demystifying the process to greatness. It's as simple as that, and it's as simple as it will ever be. That's just what this is all about. Never do I ever want to fucking hear anybody ever say stupid shit like, how do you get good at art? Send them to my channel. Actually, there's more than one way to get good at art. Well, actually, go fuck yourself. Everything about that, motherfucker. I have thought about that multiple times. Okay. go. And again, it's off center, right? But again, like it's really cool that I'm even able to slowly but surely work my way through stuff like this. Perspective doesn't really make much sense here. Probably should have been something like that, actually. Okay, that's fine. I lost a bit of it at the end, but still really... Ah, fuck. Oh, haha, I caught it! Aha, I'm a genius. That was pretty swag, as the youngins say. But I'm gonna do one more little thing, just to see kind of like what can be done. Because it's one thing to be like, oh yes, draw large graphic shapes. It's one thing to say that. It's one thing to read that. It's one thing to even be like, oh yeah, large graphic shapes. I understand. But it's another thing, completely different, to do it. Right? So for me, it's just about trying to remember. It's really just trying to remember, okay, what did they mean? Right? They said large graphic shapes, you know. And I have to kind of look at, and I looked at like a couple examples of mech stuff while I like literally 5 minutes before I started this drawing session. Is this what they mean? Right? Because it's a relatively large graphic shape, but then again, how does it really fit into the whole mech stuff? Right, I gotta think more about the perspective that it's in. It's a very wonky perspective for sure. Something like that, right? I don't know. Trying to see what's going on in that sense. But I'm gonna rest my brain. I encourage you to do so as well, and then we're gonna really try again. Again, we're just gonna fill out the rest of this page. It'll obviously take an hour because I like to take my time, right? And we're going to keep trying to understand shapes, right? Large graphic shapes. To be honest, after this, I might take a moment to like after this hour, right? The next hour, I think it's best to just copy a bunch of and memorize a bunch of general mech shapes that I'm seeing online that I like, that I find to be pleasing, and then integrate them into the hinge. Because again, ideation is great, and I do believe this has a lot of purpose, but it's kind of just like with the hinge, just like when I was trying to create hinges of my own, and it looked, and a lot of the times I was like, sometimes it worked, but because I didn't understand what was working and what didn't, right? And then actually learning how a hinge works and be like, okay, this is a principle that I can base these hinges off of. That is what was a good shift, right? I think the same thing can apply to designing shapes around the hinge. Now it's like, okay, well, we need to look at existing shapes around hinges, whether it's, I'm going to look at mechs because those are obviously based off of actual real life stuff, but this is like kind of fake in that sense, right? Like mechs aren't really real, but I'm still going to look at those because those shape languages are consistent throughout any media that we consume. So I'm going to look at like one or two, really try to understand them, and then same thing, we can start ideating off of that, and it's just going to keep being a feedback loop onto itself. There it is, another revelation that I have every so often, right? I call these quote unquote revelations, but it's just realizations that like, oh, here's another way I can challenge and improve myself and refine the process in terms of being more efficient, right? But this was all necessary, and even now this is very necessary because I'm still thinking and trying to understand, which is what matters. So yeah, let me rest my brain and fucking stop talking, Jesus Christ. Yeah, the big thing for me right now is like there's so much to think about. So I just got to try to balance them all. Like I didn't think about this in a different perspective that much at all. I didn't really think about what part of something it was attached to, right? Like what is the purpose of this part, right? I didn't really think about that. So it's like, again, the brain can only hold, in terms of concentrated effort, like 3 to 4 things at once. And concentrated effort for me is the perspective, the mannequin, and the shapes around it, right? And then the things beyond that, which is the purpose of those shapes, the context of those shapes, the perspective in 2 different, thinking about the perspective in another angle while I'm drawing it, right? Thinking about functionality, all of those things are equally as important, but they come in blips because I can only keep kind of being like, oh, don't forget to do this, oh, don't forget to do this, right? Which is why the goal for me is always to fucking kill my brain, because if I killed my brain, I know that I did my best to think about all those things all at once. But with that being said, let's see. I can do something like, I think it's actually probably really good to, instead of going all at once, to design around it. Maybe that'll work for me, right? Hold up. I'm just trying to think which perspective I want this in first, right? Yeah, that's important too. So we have the mannequin. I'm really trying to think about the mannequin, really trying to see it properly in my mind and on the page at the same time. Right, we have the mannequin. Where can we orient it? That's really difficult as well. I want to keep saying that. It's very difficult to see the mannequin, but the general idea is hopefully getting there, right? So I just have to, this is the part, like this is where I have to kill my brain, right? I think visualizing the mannequin, really killing my brain to do that is gonna, as I keep fucking realizing, I guess, is the most important, because that's what everything hinges on. Anyways, yeah, that's what everything hinges on, pun intended, I guess. But I just need to think about where I want it to be. This is the part of art that I'm never ever gonna censor, and this is why, apart from sheer laziness, my videos are an hour long. It's because I want it to be as clear as fucking day. How me staring at my page, going like fucking this over and over, is me literally thinking about the perspective, and me thinking about the hinge and like how I want to do it and all that shit, right? Like that is the learning journey. So do not ever fret, by the way, if you feel as if, oh, I'm just staring at my page. Like you specifically, like don't ever fret if you just feel as if you're just staring at your fucking page and you're like, what, like this is so hard, I'm just thinking, I'm not doing anything, I'm not drawing. Well, drawing is patience, right? You are not drawing, that's correct, right? You're not physically drawing, but mentally in your mind, you're creating an image, which all that's left is to put it on the paper, right? And that is the biggest gap, all that's left, right? The most difficult thing is actually thinking it. Absolutely the most difficult thing is actually thinking it, which is why I keep saying I want to kill my brain, because that's how I'm going to make sure it's better, right? And again, I lost the perspective there again, but see, I keep bringing it back. I keep trying to think what I can add to this. Right? Keep trying to figure out the whole large shape thingy. See, I might have fucked that up because I lost everything, but I'm trying to bring it back. I'm trying to see everything, which is, of course, very difficult. Large shapes. What does that mean? Oof, this is good. I'm putting a lot of effort into this. I'm putting a lot of fucking effort into this. Oh yeah, that's hurting my brain, all right. Okay. Yeah, extreme amounts of friction happening right now. Just want to say, because I guess I'll break down what I'm thinking. Thinking of the box, I'm thinking about the entire mannequin, and now I'm thinking about all the shapes that are going around the mannequin, and or what could go around the mannequin, and I'm trying to find purpose and aesthetic sense to those shapes, while also, as best as I can, trying to think about it from a different perspective, right? So the thing is, it's easy to just lose it all. If I lose it all, lose it all, lose it all. Fucking, I love Attack on Titan. It's so fucking good. It's so fucking depressing. So good. But enjoy my voice, I guess. But again, what is the purpose of what I'm drawing here? Right? Maybe some sort of covering. And you might think, what the fuck? Why did it take him that long to come up with this? That's literally art. That's the thinking process. You know, I have nothing else to say apart from the fact that. Oh, and I lost the perspective, which is fine. Because that's a mistake, and mistakes are part of this journey. It's not exactly what I wanted to do, but the point is the fact that I'm here now, right? And I lost the perspective again, so I'm trying to bring it back. This just looks like I'm giving this hinge a fucking jacket. Like, what the fuck? Right? And again, completely losing a lot of like the shapes. It's hard to fit things into shapes. Oof, let me try to realign my mind, because that's not what I wanted to do. Now let's see if I can, what I want to do here, let's see if I can do it here. While keeping the perspective in mind, of course, because I lost it again. Happens a lot, by the way. Happens a lot. But it's the trying, right? It's just the trying, and really, really, really trying, that's going to make all the difference. As long as you're trying, you're winning. And you're being honest with how much you're trying, right? I'm trying to right now, I'm trying to define this fucking shape and what it should be. I'm just trying to think of the box, because the box is really important. I'm trying to see if I want angles or anything as well. Right. I hope you are drawing along. Again, these formative years of my art journey are not going to be anything entertaining, because everything I put out will be shit. Right. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, everything I put out will still be shit. In terms of like where the standards I hold to myself, of course. But it'll be incredible for the average person. I'll be like, he's just drawing this stuff. What the hell, right? And it probably won't be as slow, because speed comes with time. But even if it is, the point is like the outcome will be what everybody will give a shit about. And for me, it's the fucking journey, it's the process. So yeah, for you, I hope your journey and your process, if you are listening along, please do draw. Right? Please do draw, because otherwise you might be just listening to me. And I do appreciate that, but I would appreciate you actually focusing on your learning journey way more than just being like, I appreciate it if you're curious. Genuinely, I appreciate it if you are curious about my process, curious about the art. I'll always appreciate that, right? But I would appreciate you just focusing on yourself and drawing a lot more as well, because your growth is way more important than anything I could ever put out for you, you know? And again, if I am helping you, that's amazing. Please like, subscribe, and give me money. Right? But at the same time, it's more important that you just do the work for yourself. I'm just trying to create like, I guess, little machinery shapes here, which usually just comes down to fucking cylinders attached to different types of cylinders, and then something like this, right? See, I lost the perspective there, so we just need to try to get it back a bit. Okay. Does it really look like a hinge, though? Well, the thing is, this is flat, right? The more hinge-like shapes are the ones that clearly have an angle like this, right? This is just the hinge as it is, so it doesn't really invoke a hinge-ness to it, if that makes sense, right? I was just trying something there, but it didn't work out, and it's asymmetrical, and I actually kind of fucked with the image. Oh, not kind of, definitely did. But yeah, that's good. That's good. We're slowly just trying to understand and create. But let me rest my brain. I encourage you to do so as well. And let's keep fucking trying. Let's keep fucking trying, boys and girls, right? Because women do watch my channel. I was checking my demographics yesterday. It was like 24% of you are the female, the lizard people, right? Completely foreign. They don't know how to touch pens, therefore we shouldn't touch them. But anyways, let me rest my brain. I'm impressed how shitty my jokes get, though. If there's one thing I can be proud of myself for, it's the fact that there's nothing to be proud of. Man, I love art. I fucking love that this shit takes me so much time. I'm sure for viewership, it's garbage. But for me, for little old me, it is perfecto. Perfecto. Okay. Let's just keep, well, yeah, next session I'm just gonna take a break and we'll just keep, we'll probably do is draw a bunch of mech shapes, and then we'll use a different colored pen and try to put the hinge in it, right? This is basically what I said yesterday too, or like last video, where, drawing the hinge and putting mech shapes over it. Actually, that would probably be better, right? Or should I draw the mech shape and then, I could do either. I could literally just do either. I think that's a great way to practice as well, right? And then maybe, like, as a fucking another difficult challenge, it could be adding these inside of it. But we'll see. We'll just keep going. I honestly, I can do this forever. I'm really, really excited as to how far this can go. Wait, I have to burp. There you go. That was delicious. Good old coffee burp, right? Be the burp that you caffeine in the world. What the fuck? Isn't that what Gandhi says? Something like that? I don't know if the mic ever picks up my little mumbles. From what I can tell, it really doesn't, but that's why I'll speak slower and deeper. So here, I'll tell you what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking about this part of the hinge, right? Thinking about it over here. Actually the habit I need to break out of is that I keep my mannequin starts and ends like this, but my mind tends to forget that there's this entire upper part, right? This part right here of the hinge, So I actually need to start incorporating in my mind that hinge, if anything, this right here should be somewhere here, right? And we should look at it that way. I'm trying to think. There's a specific pattern that I keep seeing from mech designs that I'm trying to, it's something like this, where if something is covering something else, it seems to be something like that. I feel as if this pen's dying, so I need to get a new one afterwards, right? But it seems to be something like this, and there's multiple rounding, and then this is what I can tell. This is the general shape that that seems to be like what's the shape that's going over whatever mechanical part, and then you'll get a hinge like this, right? And then I've seen stuff like this. I think there's a general understanding. You guys probably know what I'm talking about. It's like this is common. If we're just going off of relatively understanding patterns that we've seen, right? So it's like, okay, and probably something like that, right? Just something like that we've all seen in terms of some sort of mechanical design, right? So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to recall what exactly this is. And thankfully, because I'll be studying this my next hour today, it will make a lot more sense. Right? It will make a lot more sense. Right now, all I have is my own general understanding and recalling ability. Right? So that's what I'm trying to do right now. And again, this is simple because I don't really have to think about a specific hinge mannequin underneath it. But now the fun challenge here is thinking about that mannequin and then seeing how things can go around it, right? So I just need to solve for that. I need to solve for that in a decent manner. Right, so we got that. Oh, and by the way, I completely got rid of the fucking cylinder that this thing comes with because it has a cylinder on both ends, and I've eradicated that apparently from my mannequin that I've memorized, which isn't the best thing, but again, the most important thing is that we also internalize the perspective, right? Something like that. Okay, now how can something like that, right? These large general shapes translate over to the hinge. And it can have asymmetry. Could it not? So if I try something like this, right? And there you go, something like that. Let's just say I tried something like this. No, try a little bit of asymmetry here. Asymmetry, and we shall the thing is, I don't even have to show the entire hinge, do I? You can just say it's coming out. Of course, we're gonna multiple around this. See, I lost the perspective there, because when you start thinking about design, obviously some things will give, right? But this is where you sort of bring yourself back. And then now I'm thinking about the box again. And I'm thinking about it in a different perspective as well, which is very difficult, but I'm thinking about that while I'm thinking about the design. But explaining it out loud is also very helpful, right? Because it's the only way I'm not gonna lose what I'm doing. See, and I'm actually trying something new here, which is that this actually has a covering, so we don't see the entire hinge, right? something like this, and then again on the other side we have the covering as well, right? Now, does this really work? I don't think so. I think the shapes could have been a lot better. This asymmetrical shape that I've created here kind of was right? But I also did something really good, which is now I personally am realizing. Oh god, that was disgusting. What the fuck? That's like the rancid caffeine burp. But I'm personally am realizing that I can still keep thinking about the hinge mannequin, and I mean, like, not realizing, but I'm reinforcing that I can keep thinking about the hinge mannequin, but also draw things over it, and that's what I'm really trying to focus on right now, right? Which is, let's see, because we can do something like this and something like that. There you go, right? Where we're really getting that hinge shape understood. And then we can do something like, let's see, something like something like that, right? We add a little bit of that. Trying really hard to keep seeing the perspective. Right, I mean, the hinge is actually a bit smaller here. There you go, let's make it a bit bigger. That's not bad. And it's definitely a hinge. So kind of covering it, but still taking in that, okay, everything is following that, right? It is a bit off, I will be honest. It is definitely a bit off. I think this pen is dying. Whatever, we'll use it for the time being, and then I'll bring out a new pen for the next time. But I'm gonna rest my brain again, and then we're gonna keep trying. Just keep fucking trying. Really, just get all this ideation out there, right? Try to. I think the main thing is I also want to keep thinking about it in a different perspective. I can kill my brain more. Okay, I have 20 minutes left. I need to really work my brain. But yeah, I'm gonna rest my brain. Encourage you to do so as well. All the same shit I've been saying for like fucking years at this point, even though it's only been a month. Yeah, it might just be best to. Well, I'm looking forward to looking at mech shapes and then trying to understand how hinges can connect to that. Right? Let's make this one a bit bigger. Oh shit, I kind of bled over into that, but that's fine. Alright, cool. Yeah, this pen's definitely dying. I've been using it a lot. Good thing for my birthday, I just asked for 40 more of these. So we're good on that front. Right. Maybe I could try reverse engineering like graphic shapes into it. So right, if we start with that, how can the hinge be put in there? In there. That's my accent. In how can the hinge be put in there? Right? I'm pucking my lips while I say it. It's quite sexy. But see, now I can think like, okay, how can I put a hinge in here? Well, there's multiple ways I think, but if I just stick to the one and really try to, really try to. There you go. Still trying to figure out that angle, which is good. Lost the perspective again. And then we'll come down here. Still trying to figure out the perspective in my mind. Let's see. Just trying to figure this out. We can do something like this, which reinforces the hinge. So I guess this is going to be a slightly modified variant of my hinge, right? Wait, fuck, it's like converging very fast now. So I lost the perspective. Okay, there's that. And then what? Well, if that is the hinge, I could actually just make it go through here. And then come out through there, right? This isn't the right mannequin though. Let's see. We don't really see much. I lost the perspective again. But I've been losing the fucking perspective. Like that. We could just... something like this, right? There you go. We have this motherfucker. Really trying to understand what I'm doing here. Fuck it. Finally, we're back, boys. We added the cylinder. The cylinder is back. Lost the perspective again. Right, the overall perspective. And gotta think, what else can be added? Well, we can actually do this. But okay, if I think about functionality. Okay, so this hinge is gonna be a bit different. But I think I've got a decent idea going, and I really like this shape. I didn't like it at first, but I really like it now, right? If we just connect the little perspective lines a little bit, right? Makes it a lot more three-dimensional, right? Same thing here. Or maybe it looks like ass. I don't know. Right, the fucking can't say anything with confidence. Yes, looks quite three-dimensional. 10 seconds later, actually, wait, it's garbage. Oh, the plight of an artist. So I'm starving and I'm broke, but at least I have a giant cock. Okay, let's see. How the mannequin attaches to this has to be thought about. Right, something like that. Well, the question is, how am I even attaching this in the first place? Let me think about it. And I have to think about the perspective as well, which I lost again. This actually doesn't even... I think this works okay in the perspective I've established. I do have an idea, which I think will be decent. Right? You can probably start to understand that, hey, it's actually not that bad. Right? There you go. That's it. That was it. Simple, yet effective. Cool. See? And then let me just try to think, because this is the hinge, right? It's just about trying to understand where it's going to come out from. Yeah, I'm just trying to recreate that that little screw shape, but obviously it's not gonna be perfect, but I think it's okay. We're just getting ideas out, right? So cool. This doesn't look too bad. And then again, we could just make it even more. And we could just say this was a really foreshortened box, or like a really converged box. Yeah, my lines in this angle do suffer quite a bit. Sure. Not bad. Not bad at all. Okay. I'm gonna rest my brain. I guess we'll have one last shape here, right? Or maybe like one and then another one. But even though I didn't really visualize as much as I wanted to, I did put an effort in. But I feel as if I could always put more of an effort in. But that's just the way it goes. So let's just keep going. Fucking amazing sentence. That's just the way it goes. So let's go. Fucking anyways, I'm retarded. Let me just rest my brain. And the main thing is I need to really keep training myself to see that damn box, because that's the biggest thing I'm missing, I think. Is the goal, really, the biggest goal is like if I can always have the box there, then I can always be able to contextualize everything I'm drawing, right? I'll always have a something to fall back to. So I really need to, and I mean this, like I really need to keep seeing that box and the mannequin. That's the biggest thing, the box and the mannequin, right? So it's very difficult. So that's why I say I want to kill my brain, because ain't no way I'm gonna get good without really suffering. And I mean that in a good way. I guess I don't like using the word suffering without really experiencing a lot of friction, right? So like this, for example, ain't that bad. See? Made a slight alteration to the hinge, but I like it. Or at least like this shape, right? I like that. It's a multiple rounded cylinder. It's not bad. Now I just gotta think how I want this to go. Well, if I do it like this, I'll be able to add something like this, right? Always gotta make sure I'm adding, keeping that mannequin in mind, keeping that perspective in mind. Fucking lines really are suffering though. Which is good, because again, I just have to keep reinforcing to myself this is a good thing. And my brain will do the rest. That looks pretty cool. Something like that, right? There you go. Oof, this is a lot better. My brain's definitely fucking dying, which is good. Obviously trying to think about it in a different perspective as well. Right? There you go, that's a little screw shape. Kind of going in there. And then what else? What could make this seem more mech-like? Is it maybe something like that? Right, just like a little sheath, additional detail to the sheath, I guess you could call it. And then again, lost the perspective, now I'm trying to re-establish it. Right? Obviously this is really off. That's a bit better. And we can just do something like that to make it like, oh yeah, that's what it's like. The rounding could always use work, but it's not bad. And then what else do I want to do? Well, I have to think about what type of mech-like shape I could add over here, right? So let me think. Because I'm just trying to see, maybe there could be like an attachment over here or something. Right? Whether it makes sense or not is obviously up for debate. And I think the debate has been answered. It does make sense. Don't just leave it. Don't touch it. But let's see, what other mech-like shapes could be added? And by mech, I just mean like hard surface, large shapes is what Antonio kept saying. Right? So could it not be something like that? Right? And it doesn't even have to cover the entire thing. It just right? Something like this. And then we could have it actually go up past. And then maybe it ends. Or maybe it just ends like that. We could also have little attachments there, just on that side, right? And let's see, but this shape could be a lot more than what it currently is. I think that comes down to being able to see the box. Something like that, right? We can do the same thing here. Still trying to keep the perspective in mind. Obviously, this is incorrect in terms of perspective. And then something like that here. So that kind of worked, but not really, right? And it just comes down to the understanding of the shapes that I drew. Let me just close this off. Right? We're not trying to do any abstractions right now. We're just trying to understand and create shapes that are connected. It's okay. It's not bad. Maybe I could just do something like that here. That actually looks pretty decent, right? And the hinge is at the forefront of it all. But I love how it's like perfectly 10 minutes every single time it's taking me to do this right now. Right? Every time I check, it's like 37, 27, 37, 47, 57. It's actually pretty crazy. But I will rest my brain, and then we'll do one more right here, right? That was difficult, but that was good. That was really good. Slowly but surely. But I think the biggest bottleneck now is just, again, but first it was, I don't know how to draw hinges. So we look at one example of a hinge, and we just fucking draw the shit out of that. Now it's, I don't know how to draw things around hinges. So we just need to look at examples of things that are around hinges, right? Mech, I guess, I don't know if it's quote unquote cheating or whatever the fuck, right? Because like, oh, draw from life, draw from reference, real things. And yeah, I did that with the hinge, but if I want to draw mechs, I think it makes sense to look at the designs of mechs. I'm sure those mech designs are interpreted from real life, of course, right? And maybe it would be beneficial to look at real life things like cars or whatever, but right now, and then like translate that like a car or like a truck into like a mech design. But if right now my trouble is just coming up with shapes, personally it feels more correct to just, in this context, can't even speak, in this context for the time being, to what's it called? Look at existing mech designs and then see where that goes, right? Like see where that, then like drawing around that, because then I can have more ideation and then I can go back to looking at references. Plus this Qt-Bots workout takes you through that entire step, right? So my goal really should be just right now, hinge, drawing things around hinges, right? Another hinge, I'll internalize 2 hinges, 2 pivots, and 2 ball and joints, and then drawing things around those. Once I can do that over the next 2-3 months, right? 20, 30, 40 hours, whatever. Actually, many more hours than that, I believe. Yeah, like 50, 60 hours. Then we'll be out to the part of the workout where it's just look at mech design references, which I've already been doing. I'll be able to, and then break them down. That's like one of the parts, the last part, I think, or the 4th part. There's 5 parts to it, like 5 steps. 4th step is look at a bot, look at a mech design, and turn it cute, because it's cute bots, right? So I'm not going to do just cute bots. I'm just going to practice making them all different types of bots, right? And then drawing them from memory, rotating them. That's going to be like, it's all a spatial reasoning exercise for me, more than anything, right? Like mechs are the hard surface is the most challenging and yet most, I believe, beneficial spatial reasoning exercise, right? It's all spatial reasoning for me. I don't give a fuck. Like I don't give a fuck about actually drawing anything, if I'm gonna be really honest, right? Like yes, I want to draw all these cool things, but none of these, I don't give a shit about any of these. But they're all spatial reasoning exercises, right? It's a really small if, but if spatial reasoning, wow, what a surprise, is one of the most important things when it comes to representational art, right? Drawing 3D things on a 2D plane, then we must min-max, or just max, right? Maximize the hardest variations of that, which to my current knowledge, it's hard surface, i.e. mechs, planes, trucks, all that shit, right? Organic is a different beast. Obviously, I'm going to go back to the artwod fundamentals, and we're going to get into the organics, and we'll practice that, all that stuff. But right now, it's also my interest lies in mechs. But that tangent aside, what I'm saying is that's probably the next step. Is I'm just reinforcing, is to be able to understand 2 to 3. It doesn't have to be any more than that. Just 2 to 3 consistent mech shapes that I see as patterns. Internalize those patterns, and then I can play with those patterns. And with just this one hinge. If one hinge design and just me ideating got me all these different things, imagine what 3 established patterns of mech like covers or whatever on hinges that I see can do, right? So yeah, anyways, let me rest my brain. Fucking tangent aside. Jesus Christ, okay. Yeah, this is fun. This is actually like, and the more I look at this, like even though I don't care for it, I'm really, really proud of the effort that I've been putting in, right? And I know I always think I can put more effort, which I can. Of course I can, because I'm building. Also, by the way, we're building the ability to exert more effort, right? So I need to build my ability to exert more effort. Most fucking boring shape I've ever drawn. But now it's up to me to see how I can make it interesting, right? So already I can think of a couple things. We'll start with this for one. Right? Probably, you know what I need to do is I need to push the angles a bit more. That's what I've realized. I don't push my angles as much. That results in shapes that kind of look meh, right? But it's okay. We'll figure it out. Pretty basic perspective, but I need to keep thinking about that perspective, keep visualizing, keep thinking about the overall shape I want to draw, keep visualizing, keep seeing the perspective, keep visualizing. I wonder if there's a common theme that you're noticing. Keep visualizing. Guys, this isn't my advice. This is the advice of people who are much better than me. Okay? And it'll be like, the thing is, what they'll say is basically always the same shit. Right? They'll always just say the same shit. Practice your basics, get really technically proficient, then allow yourself the creative liberty to break out of that technical proficiency, like that rigidity, right? And then, what's it called? I'm trying to think. Yeah, practice the basics, get technically proficient, break out of that, and then keep going back to the basics, I guess, right? But the visualization stuff is just something, again, I've for a long time, to be honest, ever since I started this channel, I've been wondering, right? Am I talking too much about Kim Jong-il? Am I too rigid in being enamored by this one individual? And it's not just one individual, it's people like that individual, right? There's a lot of artists I've been following. If you go to my Instagram, it's on my channel, right? If you go to my Instagram, you look at who I've been, like, and you sort by my following in terms of most recent, you'll see like the people I stick to the most are the ones that are just really good craftsmen, and they're really good at just drawing things from life or from imagination, right? And there's a particular art style to it, very structurally sound, pen only, right? Stuff like that. So I thought I was essentially, hold up, I'm thinking too. I guess let me finish my thought. I thought I was being kind of falling into the trap of beginner artists, being like, don't only look at these people, there's so much out there. But at the same time, I'm like, you know what, bro? I'm 28. I've been drawing for 2 years, 11 months, right? Almost 3 years. It's October. I started November 1st, 2022. It's October 14th or 15th, 2025, right? So almost 3 years, basically. For 3 years, this is pretty okay, right? And my main thing is the fact that I have decades of art left. If this is how I'm thinking, this is what I'm so passionate about right now, I should allow myself to feel this way, right? I'll never know everything about art, and I'll never know everything about what's it called, like the right way to learn or whatever, in terms of just, oh, here's the type of people you should follow, blah blah blah. But in the domain that I am interested in, I have a lot of passion and I have a lot of interest in, so I should capitalize on that passion and interest, because that's something people wish they had, right? People wish they could be passionate and interested, maybe to my level or maybe beyond my level, whatever, but people wish they could have this sort of what the fuck am I even trying to say, bro? God damn it. The way, okay, all I'm trying to say is I should be grateful that I have something to care about to this extent, right? And whether this extent is something that is correct, quote unquote, right? You know, whether the way I'm thinking about this is the right way or the wrong way or whatever the fuck, clearly it's keeping me going, and it's keeping me interested, and it's keeping me consistent. And that's all that matters. I still will always think that there's a right way to learn art, in the terms of, like, if you give a shit about being technically proficient, then we should follow the advice of the things that make us technically proficient, right? But the thing is, beyond the baseline technical proficiency, which by the way always requires refinement, I want to make it very clear, right? You don't ever graduate the basics. You know, like I said earlier, I'm going to be learning code, right? It's the same shit. I was like, okay, what, like, how should I, because there's this course online by Udemy by this guy, Colt Green, I think is his name. It's Colt something, right? I took it, I bought the HTML, CSS, and the JavaScript, and the GitHub course, and it's going to be HTML, CSS, then JavaScript, and then GitHub, or maybe GitHub will come after the HTML, CSS. But the point is, right, it's the same shit. You delay gratification, you're patient beyond measure, right, to an unreasonable degree, and you just fail over and 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 over. Like, you just constantly fail. And from what I'm seeing, programming is one of those languages that really has a lot of that failure, right? And that excites me, because I fail every fucking time I pick up my pen, you know? I fail so much, it's hilarious how much I fail. You guys all see that my failures. You see it every single time. That's why I record this. It's all failures. So I'm like, if I can learn art, which I personally believe to be one of the hardest skills to learn, what the fuck is stopping me from learning programming? And not even super difficult, hardcore, top tier programming like Python, React. By the way, I don't know anything about it, so I'm just saying shit like, from what I understand, is more intensive programming from my novice understanding, right? But yeah, if I can do that, or like, I'm sorry, if I'm not even learning the most difficult ones right now, then what the fuck is stopping me, right? Literally, what is stopping me? This doesn't really look like a hinge. My lines are really bad. It's also because I fucked this up a little. It's also, yeah, because I definitely fucked that up. But yeah, I guess in regards to what I was saying about Kim Jong-il, right, is just, the whole point I was making is that I was making a joke on, like, are you finding a common pattern, which is visualize. So even while I'm speaking, by the way, I wanted to be very clear. I'm always trying to visualize what I'm drawing. As you can see, I don't just come up with this out of my ass, right? Like, I'm trying to establish an understanding of patterns, of sequences, of things I can do, right? Decision making. By the way, these circles, I thought maybe on the outside I could do them, but now I did them on the inside, because I'm like, you know what? Let's see what that would look like, right? The curiosity or whatever the fuck. You know, same with here. Like, there's so much that can be done. We have to take a step back on what will be done, right? And the question is, what do I want to do? You know, and the answer is always, well, we'll have to see. You know, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what the fuck any of this is going to look like, right? But it's just about kind of letting myself ideate, you know, letting myself really, really, really try to figure out what works, what doesn't, and what requires a lot more time. And the answer is Well, for what works, it's whatever you think you need to work, right? That was already a mess up as it is. Like, yeah, this is symmetrical, but this thing isn't. This is not symmetrical, but we can just kind of be like, oh, it's just a random shape, right? Whoop-de-doo. We're just creating a plane that's multiple rounded. Right? It's okay. It doesn't matter. This is just something that this hinge is connected to, right? But yeah, like it's just trial and error. The trial and error is always going to be very difficult. Always going to be very difficult. Right? I want to make that very clear. It's never going to be easy, and if it is easy, it's boring, by the way. In case that demotivates you, I want to let you know anything that's worthwhile is difficult. Okay? Anything that takes an immense amount of cognitive effort is difficult. Anything that is causing you mental and physical strife is difficult. And yet, if you recall on any moments in your life where you went through those periods, there's a high likelihood that at the very least, you came out of that difficulty. And by the way, I'm talking about skill learning, right? Let's just say skill learning context. You came out of that be like, okay, I pushed myself, right? Or at the very least, I would encourage you to come out of it like that. Because that's the only thing that matters, is that you push yourself, right? It's really the only thing that matters. See, now we've created, this kind of looks like a spaceship more or less than a hinge, but that's because this shape I made too big. It's not compact enough, right? But ta-da. There you go, whatever. Okay, we'll call it there. That was really fun. That was incredibly fun. That was good. I mean, again, I can always say that I should have tried harder. Of course, I can always say I should have tried harder, but I'm going to keep practicing. I'm going to keep trying my best to visualize that mannequin. I'm getting better. I feel a solid 5% improvement out. Okay, no, let's not go too far. I feel a solid 2 to 3% improvement in my ability to visualize the mannequin and to start putting things around the mannequin. And hopefully it seems clear from the fact that like I'm starting to draw around it more, right? Versus these where I was just like even now a lot of the times I started with the mannequin, but I'm doing better slowly but surely, which is all that matters, right? Slowly but surely, right? And don't call me Shirley. That was a good movie. What is it, like fucking planes or some shit? I forgot what it was called. Airplanes? I think that's literally the name of the movie. It's a good movie. But yeah, I'm gonna call it here. This is the page. I know there's like empty spots and part of me wants to fill up those empty spots, but we're done. We're done with this, and we're gonna flip the page next practice session and just practice a bunch of mech parts and then try putting the mannequin inside those parts, right? And by like coverings, by the way, not like mech parts, because mech parts are really just fucking coverings and hinges, pivots, and ball joints. That's literally what they are, right? And then like obviously based off of anatomy, so those coverings can be humanoid in shape and all that stuff. My basic understanding of this, by the way, is like that's my explanation. Very basic understanding. So I could be wrong. There's more things I could always be learning, but I don't even know what the fuck I was talking about earlier. I think I went on a completely random tangent because I was feeling some hashtag some type of way, and while I was drawing, I was a bit distracted. But either way, as always, I hope you had fun. Hope you put a lot of effort in. In fact, I demand that you only care about the effort that you put in. And even if you feel like me right now, where you're like, I could have done more, good. So what you're telling yourself is I can be more, which is amazing because you're growth oriented and that's all that matters, right? It shouldn't be I can be more, I hate myself, why am I not more? It's I can be more, therefore I can keep trying to be more, right? That's just the goal. Hard work is the goal. Personal development, just getting better, right? But getting better in terms of just the effort we put in, right? And how much we try and how much we try to learn, that's all that fucking matters, all right? So with that being said, as always, I fuck you for watching. I keep trying and I'm gonna give you money.